Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Skylar, and today I'm going to be talking about some goals and how I'm going to achieve them. I'd like to see if you guys get anything out of this, any kind of guidance or ideas for this quarter from about April to July, just to see if you guys get anything out of it, and also put my goals out there so that way I'm pushed to achieve them a little bit more. So that's kind of the idea here for this video. So we're going to see how this goes and do my best here, because it's going to be a busy next couple months, but I still think these are pretty doable. Now, I did set a low goal of like an easier, more achievable goal that I think I could do fairly easily. And then I did a higher goal that would definitely take more work to do. So the ideal here is to surpass the higher goal. But if I reach the lower goal, that is totally fine. If I fall somewhere in between, that's great. If I hit or surpass the high goal, that's amazing. So that's kind of how I see that here. So what is my first goal? My first goal is going to be regarding writing. So the ideal high goal for this is to complete the first draft of what I'm writing and be able to send it out to beta readers. That's the ideal. Is that what's going to happen? Maybe, maybe not. Hard to say. I'm not making the quickest progress here, but I'm not making the worst progress ever either. I've done a lot worse or slower in the past, so I feel like I'm doing pretty okay. Because even if I don't type, I at least try to write on paper. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But what is the high goal? The high goal is about 70,000 words or the first draft, whichever comes first, whichever actually gets achieved. Ideally, like I mentioned, be able to send out to beta readers, but at least hit that 70K at the high end. The low end is 50,000. I do think this is doable because I can write pretty quickly, especially if I already know what's going on. Like what I've been doing is I write on paper whenever I have it with me. So whenever I'm kind of out and about, I try to write on paper, and then whenever I get home and I'm able to sit down at my laptop and type away, then I try to type up what I just wrote, and then it's then past that. And it's really nice because it's like, well, here's what I just wrote, and it's just easy to keep going past that. I find it very nice to keep the flow going and get the flow started to begin with, because sometimes when I'm sitting there ready to type, it's a little harder for me. Whenever I'm able to read what I just did on paper, for some reason that's a little bit easier. So that's kind of my goal there. The next goal after the writing goal, I feel like this kind of goes hand in hand because they're always kind of talked about somewhat together, or at least I always think of them similarly. They tie together in some way to me, is the reading goal. So I made a goal for myself this year to read 20,000 pages. To be completely honest with you, I'm very, very far behind. Like I think I'm 4,000 words, pages behind right now. So that's a lot. That's a lot of books. So the 50 page a day, or I think it was about 50 pages a day goal that I set for myself, not working. But we're going to try to catch up because this is my first year trying this kind of goal. I do think I went a little ambitious with it. I was hoping I would have more time and drive to read, but I'm also willing to write, and work out and all this other stuff. So it's kind of not balancing out the way I thought it would for my reading, which is totally fine. But what is my goal for this time period from now until July? Oh, I also forgot to mention on the writing where I'm currently at, and I was considering the 50,000 to 70,000, including what I currently have on this, because I'm hoping it will all be on my one draft. If not, totally fine. I'll just track it somewhere else to keep it all together. But I currently have about 6.6 thousand words. So I would need about 43,000 more words to reach the low goal. And that would be about 63,000 more words to reach the high goal, or again, finish the draft. So there's just that. That's just where I'm currently at, so where I'm trying to get to from where I'm currently at. Now, back to the other goal, the reading goal. So as of right now, I am currently 2,000 pages in, roughly. I think I'm a little bit over that, but roughly 2,000 pages in. On the low end, I would like to be at 5,000. On the high end, 10,000. I think 5,000 words, or I want to say 5,000 words because of writing, but no, pages. 5,000 pages is doable within that time period, because I've also started reading a little bit more on Kindle, on my phone and stuff. And I find that really nice at night whenever I'm about to go to sleep to just read a quick chapter in addition to whatever else I read that day, just to get a little extra in and to help turn my brain off a little bit, because I do like to read And sometimes, even if it's like a heck of a good book, it does put me to sleep. So that's why I enjoy that. And that's the reading goal. Moving on from the reading goal, we go to my workout goal. I don't really have an idea of where I'm at right now because I was doing this in days per week. I don't think that's the best way to do it for me, as it's a little hard for me to keep track. I have it all on a notes document on my phone of like what I do, weights, reps, everything like that, and essentially sets as well, because I list them out in the order that I do them as I'm doing them during the workout. So there is that, but I just don't think that's really working for me. And I just I'm not always able week to week to go to the gym 2 to 3 or 3 more times a week. That's not always ideal. So, but some weeks I can. Some weeks I can do that and then a little bit more. So my idea was to do an average over the month. So for example, my low goal is to do an average of 3 days per week over the course of a month, or essentially 12 times a month. That doesn't sound like a lot, but between the rest days and everything else I have going on, trying to plan the wedding, trying to plan a move, trying to plan out a different job, trying to plan out writing and reading and everything else, I feel like that's actually not the worst goal. Of course, I would like it to be a little higher, at least like maybe 4 to 5 days, but I also like throwing in more rest days for myself because my body ain't used to it like it used to be. So we got to kind of ease into it just a little bit more than I would otherwise. But that's kind of the low end, is about 3 days a week. Also, I keep looking down because I have my handy dandy little paper detailing everything out right below me. So if I look down at all, that's what I'm kind of glimpsing at. But I'm trying to stay focused on the camera and just glimpse down in like quiet moments. But in case it catches, that's what's going on. 3 to 4 days per month. 4 days would be about roughly 16 days. So somewhere in between that 12 to 16 day range. 16 or more is ideal, but if not, that's okay. And actually, the gym that I go to, whenever I check in, my app kind of tracks that, gives me points for it. And the more times I go, the more points I get, and it tells me how many times I've gone that month. So that's really helpful and will assist with that. I can also just count it up at the end to see how much I actually went, judging from my notes app. So it's very tangible and easy to do. So that's what I'm going to try to do. It's just a matter of actually bringing my gym clothes with me and going and doing it. My next goal is financial. I would like to save $500 more over the course of this time. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it will make sense because I also want to put more onto my loans than savings right now, just because I'm not entirely happy with where my savings is at, but I'm not mad about it either. And with everything that's coming up, I feel like it's better to put towards debts and loans rather than savings. So that's kind of my plan right now, and that's what I'm going to work towards. So over the course of April, May, and June, I would like to save $500. The other thing with that is and that's a logo, 500 is a logo. The other thing with that is I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing for a job yet. I have some potential things lining up, hopefully, but nothing set in stone yet. And at this point, I'm kind of okay with just waiting until after July, after I go on my trip, and then coming back and figuring it out. That's not ideal because that would be a little over a month plus without a job, but that's why I would like to focus more on savings or the debts that I have, because after that, I can kind of level things off and I'll be okay. So low end, I would just like to save $500 over the course of this time, and then high end, I would like to save $1,500. I think the $1,500 is still very attainable for me. It's just going to be more of a push with everything else that I'm trying to do. So we'll see on that one, but $500 at minimum, I think that's definitely doable. Lastly, after financial is videos, YouTube. My YouTube goal on the low end is to post 5 videos over April, May, June. I would like to do upwards of 10 videos, but 5 at the low end. And I feel like that is very doable to do. That means I have about 2 weeks per video. I'm hoping to post more like once a week, but if not, that's totally fine. If it ends up being more than once a week, that would be amazing. But again, if not, totally fine. Once every 2 weeks right now is perfectly okay for me. Again, I just want to try to get into this, get more used to the editing, get more used to the flow of it, and trying to do this. Because I do enjoy doing it. I just always get hung up with the editing. I get way too perfectionistic about it and everything. So we're going to try to get more used to it to where that's not the case anymore. That's the main goals for the overarching 3 months. That does mean that, let me do some math here. Where's my phone? I'm using my phone to film. Well, Okay, it's great to have like yearly goals, but it's even better to break those down into quarterly and then to break those into monthly, then those into weekly, and even potentially into daily. Daily goals don't always work for me. If I do them, I usually write them in my planner and then forget about them. So then they're no use to me at all. In weekly goals, it becomes the same issue. So I've been trying to get more into my planner again recently because I'll have phases where I really use it and then I don't. And I'm trying to get more into using it again. So let's just break this down into monthly because I think that might be an easier way to look at it. So the first one, the writing goal. Let's start low end. Low end of the writing goal, 50,000 divided by 3. That's 16,666 words. Yeah, it's a bunch of sixes. You might hear my kitty chomping. She's a loud eater and they just got fed, but not a problem. So that is a good amount of words per month, but if I do like say a 15-minute sprint, I can do 500 words in that time. I've also already got about 10 pages wrote out in a notebook. So I already have a pretty good start on that. If I just continue doing that and actually remember to type them up and do that, I think I'm going to be a-okay. And if I just keep going, I'll be fine. So that's where we're at on the low end of that. And actually, that's not correct because we're doing subtracting what I already have. So 50,000 minus 6600, that actually puts us at 43,400 divided by 3. That's actually 14,466 words. So 15,000 a month. That's roughly 500 words a day. That's not bad at all. And again, I can write that in about 15 minutes if it's a good, actually, even when I'm struggling, sometimes I can do 500 words in 15 minutes. So that's definitely doable. Give myself 30 minutes a night and I probably could knock that out very easily, if not even surpass that. So that is barring no major writer blocks or anything, but definitely doable. Then we look at the high end, which is 70,000 minus 6.6. That's 63,400 divided by 3. That's 21,133 words per month. Or if you divide that by 30, roughly 704 words per day. That's not awful. Again, that's totally doable. So I feel pretty good about a 3-month first draft or 3-month 700 words or 50,000 words. Feel very fine about that. Feel very doable about that. So I am excited about that one. The other one, the reading one, that one gets a little tricky because I will be fully honest, I've had many days this year so far where I haven't even picked up the book at all. Again, with me trying to keep up with Kindle a little bit more and reading on there, I think that's going to help because at least I'm still reading somewhere, somehow, but that is a big factor. If we're gonna do 3,000 words, that would be 3,000 pages. That'd be 1,000 pages a month. That would be 2 500-page books, which both of the books I'm reading right now are 500 pages. So essentially, if I finish those books this month, I'm gonna be in good shape. And I'm already halfway through one, and I'm not super far into the other. I'm not even at 100 pages. Point is, though, definitely doable. Just needs to put a little bit of time into reading, probably I'd say more than 30 pages a day, just because I'm not the quickest reader in the world, so that's why reading takes a little longer and it's a little harder. But hi, you want to come here? You want to come here, girly girl? Oh my goodness, there she is. There she is. So basically, I'm trying to read another 2 books a month here, and then the ideal goal though would be to read 10,000 pages total, so subtracting the 2,000 would be 8,000. So that would be, double the current amount of 2 books a month, so 4 books a month. That is pushing it for me a little bit, but I still think that's doable. So there's that. Then we look at the 3 days in the gym. That one, I just gotta break down and do it. There's no way to break that down any further or anything. I just need to go to the gym at least 12 to 16 times a month. And that's all there really is to that. Then moving on to the next one is the savings. So basically, if you do 500 over the course of the next 3 months, that would be roughly somewhere between $150 and $175 a month, where if we do $1,500 over the course of the next 3 months, that would obviously be $500 a month. Totally doable, but different ways to look at it. Then the last thing is the posts. I kind of already touched on that as well, though. It's either once a week or once every 2 weeks. So there's a couple different ways to look at that one as well. Again, I think the 5 videos during that time is totally doable. This is going to be one of them right now, so I think that's totally doable. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, what are your goals for Q2 of 2025? Do you have any? Did this help you come up with any? Did this help you try to break down some of the goals you already had, or think about them in a different way? Let me know what you guys think. I am going to try to post again sometime soon. I wouldn't mind doing like a little vlog of the writing and reading, but I'm not for sure how that's going to work exactly. I think I just need to break down and like, even if it's just short little like, here's what I did, I think that'd be okay, but I don't know. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great night. I hope this made sense, or at least was entertaining, or assisted you, or anything along those lines. Me and Minnie say bye. Is that right, Minmins? Let's go shut down the video. We gotta shut down the video. Wow.